Well, hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Dray. I'm a board certified dermatologist. And in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Anua Collagen Retinol Refining Gua Sha Cream. This is a product that's gotten a lot of hype on social media. So is it worth it? Is it any good? Well, I've been putting it to the test. We're going to talk ingredients, performance, price point, comparisons, and the gadget at the end of the tube for applying it, like a gua sha. What is the deal there? All the claims around jawline sculpting, reversing turkey neck. Buckle up because there's some interesting stuff here. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about this cream is the built-in applicator. The product is dispensed through a tiny hole in the center of a gua sha, which is that funny looking metal head. This is how the brand recommends you use their product. Apply the cream to the jawline, neck, and chest. Then spend about 5 minutes massaging upward with the applicator. The idea here is that the massage helps sculpt, lift, and firm the skin. Now, before we get into the cream itself, let's talk about the gua sha thing. This is something that comes up all the time online, and no matter how many times I talk about it, I'm always going to get questions. What are your thoughts on gua sha? What about gua sha? What about gua sha? So, to remind you, what about gua sha? Gua sha, as well as facial massage, okay? All of these techniques, they've gotten really, really popular. And honestly, it's fine to do. I have no problem with this. Facial massage, whether it be using a tool like gua sha or your hands, it may temporarily reduce puffiness, excess swelling, and frankly, it can be very relaxing and enjoyable to do. But where I start taking issue around the whole gua sha thing is when people try and claim that it's going to sculpt and lift your neck, especially turkey neck, that it's going to redefine your jawline and undo laxity. In this day and age, with so many people losing a ton of weight on GLP-1 receptor agonist medications and developing more skin laxity, loose skin, yeah, we need to set expectations to something realistic, because no skincare product or massage or gua sha tool is going to get rid of laxity, turkey neck, prominent sagging. In order to correct those things, that's going to be cosmetic procedures, whether it be a minimally invasive procedure like radiofrequency microneedling or ultrasound. Sometimes you can get away with improving some of the appearance of turkey neck even with strategically placed Botox. Also, in some cases, when it's really significant laxity, significant sagging, at that point we're talking, well, cosmetic surgery, like a neck lift. A cream, a massage tool, they cannot reposition skin. Again, it doesn't mean that these things are harmful, that massage is a problem, that doing the gua sha is going to hurt you. I just think we need to set realistic expectations, root ourselves in reality. It's kind of awkward to use. After many attempts with this particular tool, I found it very stiff on the skin with the product. In fact, I found it very awkward to rub over the skin after applying the product. I questioned, is some of the product getting off on this? And am I then, not really getting as much on my skin as I initially put? In other words, after a while, I was like, okay, I'm done with this applicator. I'm just squeezing it out onto my finger and applying it directly to my skin, as I always do. I don't know. I kind of think the applicator is a bit of a grab your attention selling point, but the cream itself is very good. You kind of have to try and figure out ways to stand out, right? Because there's a ton of neck creams, firming creams, retinol creams out there. If you can bring a little something extra, a vibrating wand even, heck, I don't know, glitter, sparkle, whatever. That's what, brands have to a little spin on things. Otherwise, they're just going to get lost in the sauce of everything else that's out there. Now, let's talk about the formulation itself. Because like I said, I think that the product is a lot more interesting than that gadget. And it's got, the basic players in any moisturizing backbone: glycerin, panthenol, niacinamide. It's got macadamia seed oil, an emollient. And of course, it has retinol, the ingredient of interest, and then collagen, which we'll talk about, as well as adenosine. It's fragrance-free, which I appreciate, because fragrance, it is a common allergen, and retinol as an ingredient can be irritating in the beginning. Fragrance can increase the likelihood of irritation, so I prefer fragrance-free, especially when it comes to retinol. The texture, though, is delightful. It's very rich, it's very nourishing, it's thick, but it's not heavy or oily or oppressive, and after you spread it on the skin, it's got this nice plump, hydrated, glowy, dewy, youthful appearance to it. Now, that's not because the retinol immediately started working that second. It's really just related to how nice of a cream this happens to be. But nonetheless, spreads beautifully. The gadget applicator is not necessary to get this all over the skin in a relaxing manner even, okay? You can rub it in with your fingers and relax along the way. Let's talk about the collagen, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's just a gimmick. And hey, I mean, it's fair to question the realities of what brands and products claim. But collagen, you know, yeah, it's a very large, not likely to get into the skin. But collagen peptides also in skincare products, they are moisturizing. They do play a role. They don't replace collagen in the dermis, however. They're not going to address dermal collagen needs. Now, here's another thing that I need to draw your attention to is the niacinamide in this. Now, niacinamide, here we go again, okay? The workhorse of the skincare industry. I love it, but some of you guys hate it because you don't get along well with it. If you get along well with it, well, that you're in luck because it's in pretty much everything. And there are multiple benefits to be had from using niacinamide. It's very good for your skin barrier. It helps calm down redness. It's very good for unwanted pigmentation, evening out skin tone. It also shows promise for helping to protect against or reverse potentially skin glycation, which has to do with our lifestyle and exposures. Basically, it's a process where sugars glom onto stuff in our skin and render them stiff, rigid, create a lot of inflammation. And that's what leads to, well, sallow skin in older age, you know, areas of a lot of sun damage in particular. So niacinamide shows promise there. It's good for redness. And people who have oily skin find that they benefit from using it. The claim that it actually reduces oil output, I have yet to see substantiated, but nonetheless, if you have oily skin, maybe you get along with it. I personally love it. Like, I really do find that it benefits my skin quite a bit. But like I said, some of you guys, you don't get along with it, and they don't tell you what the percentage is in this. And now I want to emphasize, we need to stop getting so hung up on the exact concentration of ingredients. Where do these appear on the list? Because if they're too far down, they're not. None of that is true. Ingredient efficacy largely is not related to where on the ingredient list the ingredient falls, okay? It has to do with the overall formulation, because retinol, for example, which I promise we'll get to, it's generally going to be very low down on the ingredients list because you don't need that much in order to have it work, and more is not more. Sometimes it backfires. Now, the thing about niacinamide, though, is that if you're sensitive, you may find that you're not always sensitive, but when niacinamide is present at very high percentages, then it starts causing issue for you, in which case, yeah, it's definitely helpful to know a little bit about that, but we're not told that. Now, with regards to the retinol, likewise, we're not told what the percentage is. And honestly, that is par for the course. It is not common for brands to tell you that. It could be that a lower percentage in a better formulated cream is working better than that is, okay? So again, it has to do a lot with the overall formulation. And there are a lot of things going on here with the retinol that influence how much they're going to be able to get away with using, like the overall stability. They do use encapsulation systems and, the overall vehicle design, not to mention the supporting players in the formula. Remember, we've already got that antioxidant niacinamide that probably is helping keep the retinol happy in there, and the overall consistency and penetration characteristics. So there's a lot of things that go into it besides just, oh, it has this percent, okay? Keep that in mind, especially when we're talking about cosmetics where there's a lot of variation out there. A beautifully formulated low-strength retinol can be 10 times more effective than a crummy high-percentage retinol. But I do still think the disclosure in some circumstances could be helpful because there's likely a threshold, although again, we don't really have that established, where retinol starts to become like too little, basically homeopathic dosing. It's like, it can't be doing anything. And that would be helpful to know. But brands don't tell us that because, a lot of it has to do with them trying to protect their proprietary formulations. What exactly was my experience using this? Keep in mind, I've been using topical retinoids to my face for close to 10 years now. Okay, so that means I'm unlikely to get irritation from a retinol that I test out. I am unlikely to see a dramatic change in my skin above and beyond what I have already achieved and maintained using retinoids on my face. I did pause my topical retinoid for a few weeks to test this out. So you guys, I wasn't using this alongside my topical retinoid. I paused that for the sake of being a guinea pig here. I will say my skin tolerated this very well. I didn't develop stinging, redness, irritation, like from the actual actual cream itself, I noticed right away my skin looked really, really good. Like, it is a really nice vehicle, to say the least. It's very luxurious, but not heavy or greasy. I primarily use this on my face and my neck, although it is marketed to be used on face, neck, and décolleté. I point that out because retinol can be more irritating on the neck and the décolleté, so a formulation that is such that they've tested it, it's likely, a good choice if you're looking to derive the benefits of retinol on the neck and the upper chest, but hoping to minimize unwanted irritation. But is the retinol any good? Okay, does it actually work? Honestly, this is something we're really never gonna know objectively. The only way to really know if a retinol is working is to go looking for some more objective findings, like things that were there that are no longer there or starting to go away, like age spots. Is there some objective way to measure wrinkle depth? Not just by looking at yourself in the mirror and be like, I feel like my skin looks better, and then telling somebody this is an effective retinol, like an objective, like facial analysis. The kingpin here would be like a biopsy and to show an improvement in collagen density and collagen organization. That would be like, yeah, this bad boy is working. But I can come on here and tell you, I think it's a great cream. I think it's a great retinol. My skin looked great using it. That doesn't necessarily mean though that the retinol actually did anything in my skin. In other words, it'd be kind of nice to know how this particular product performs up against an identical cream, only without the retinol. Okay, with all the other stuff, the niacinamide, the collagen, the macadamia seed oil. Is it just a really good moisturizer that happens to have retinol in it? I don't know. We'll never know those kind of things. Let's talk about the price point, because that's very important these days, especially. This retails anywhere, I've seen $30 to $27 for the 2.7 ounce tube, which honestly is pretty typical for a topical retinol. Most are around that value. Yeah, you could find a less expensive one. You could find a more expensive one. That's the name of the game here, okay? We got a lot of products at our disposal. They're all gonna come at different price points. Price does not necessarily underscore efficacy, however, but that is the price. Are you willing to pay it? If you're in the market for a retinol, is this worth your $27 to $30? Aside from the gadget on the end, okay, this has a very nice texture. It's comfortable to use. The ingredients are logical. There's not a lot of fluff going on here. I honestly think this is a very reasonable retinol for those of you looking for cosmetic retinol, which, a lot of people claim is like a beginner. I think of it more of a more accessible form of active vitamin A because it doesn't require a prescription, and it's been shown to do what a topical retinoid can do. It just takes a little bit longer to get there, and it tends though to be less irritating. As a reminder, retinol is not active. The minute you put it on your skin has to convert it to the active form, but it can do that. It can still be effective. The studies that we have, although we don't have a ton, suggest that the end game, the end results, when you stay consistent and use retinol, the end results are pretty much the same as if you used a topical retinoid. Again, we don't have a ton of studies looking at that, but what we do have suggests, yeah, this can work just as good as long as you stay consistent with it and you're patient, because it will take a little bit longer to get there. But if you get there with less irritation, that's good. And if you get there without having to rely on going to the dermatologist and getting a prescription and all that, great. Okay, remember, in the case of what we're talking about here, we're not looking to treat skin disease. Okay, this isn't like acne. It's not like melasma. We want cosmetic benefits. We want improvement in the look of aging skin, improvement in the look of sun damage. We're not looking for a medical outcome, okay? Cosmetics like retinol, retinaldehyde, they can't make medical claims, and they're not intended to treat diseases like the retinoids, which also work for the cosmetic stuff, okay? Retinols are just cosmetic. Overall, my final thoughts, I like this. I like it, and I've added it to my recommended retinaldehydes. This year I've been very impressed with this, and also want to remind you guys, I was very impressed with, and actually finished up, although I mostly used it on my forearms, because again, I use topical retinoids to my face, the prequel retinaldehyde, okay? So that is another really fantastic one. I think they could cut off the gua sha on this and just have the cream, but hey, I get where they're coming from. That might not sell for them as well. It is what it is. Gua sha is really popular on TikTok. People love rubbing their faces, forward motion, blinding one side or the other, trying to convince people that one side is tighter than the other, and it's like, nobody is reversing turkey neck with a gua sha, okay? They're just not. I know the gua sha enthusiasts will not be happy that I said that, but it's the honest honest to God truth. As long as you have realistic expectations, I think this is a great option, okay? It's great. It's a wonderful moisturizer. Any skin tone, any skin type, age, I mean, this would be a great option, provided you tolerate it. And that's gonna vary depending on you, the individual, okay? There's no formula I can give you that says, if you're this and you're that, and we add these things together, and it's Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday in which it is used, then you will not have any problem. Work up, if you're using something like this, to using it every day. Use it every day for at least a year, and then at that point you can reassess and maybe use it less frequently. These ingredients are intended to be used daily, so keep that in mind. That's kind of the goal with where you want to get to. All right, y'all, drop a comment below. Have you tried this out? I know they have some other retinols. I haven't tested those. Let me know if you're interested in those. I'd be happy to test them out in the future. But Anua does have some really fantastic products. Some of my favorites include, well, the azelaic acid serum, which I've talked about, and also their zero cast sunscreen. Don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on that. That is an amazing no white cast. That's one of my all-time favorites from Anua. Plus, they've got some great facial moisturizers, body barrier creams. All that yammering aside, I'll put the prequel retinaldehyde review on the end slate if you're curious about that, if I piqued your interest a bit. Check that out. But if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.